Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of My Truth podcast. Today I'm with a special guest whose journey into football is an entertaining one at times, educational one, and an emotional one as well, all wrapped up. None of my guests have quite moved me as much as he did when we did our pre-work to prepare for this interview. And I'm hoping his story really impacts you as a viewer as much as it did to me as a host. So today I welcome Alistair John to the show.
How you doing? You right?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Good. So Alistair, what I normally do with my guest is get some sort of background as to where they've come from in terms of living wise and what your parents were like, what the home life was like before we get into the actual football journey. So do you want to give us a bit of insight of where you lived and a bit of history about your parents and family around you?
Yeah, come from Croydon. Basically, that's close to Fulton Heath because that town's big now. Mm-hmm. So close to Fulton Heath, Mitcham and certain places like Purley, Surrey, almost. Okay. Born to two Caribbean parents. One from my dad from St Vincent and Grenada, and my mum from Jamaica. Okay. Youngest of three. I had my older brother Leon and my sister, who's the middle child, Charlene.
Okay. So in terms of sporting attributes, was that in the family?
Yeah, so my mum, she was a runner, so she done running for Croydon Harriers at one point, and my dad, he liked football, he was involved in football, but I'm not too sure about his football history. I don't think he played for a team or anything, so but he was still athletic and still go to the gym all the time, and
and brother and sister.
Yeah, my brother, he was semi-professional at one point. Okay. My sister also played football. She was very sporty. She played for Crystal Palace girls and for Banstead girls at one point as well. So, yeah, football was in the family.
Family, definitely. Yeah. Quite see it's in the genes. Okay, so now we come to your story.
Yeah.
And it's a long one. So we'll start back at the beginning, like right at the beginning, where, when did you start playing football? What's your early memories of the sport?
The early memories I remember wanting to play football. I remember I was watching, I think it was Match of the Day or something early in the morning, and I used to see everyone playing, and there was like an orange kit, I remember. Yeah. And I was thinking, I like that kit. I don't know who they are or whatever it was. I was like 4 years old, and my dad took me to a sports shop and picked out, said, what kit do you want? And I saw the kit that I saw on TV. I was like, yeah, that's the one I want. Okay. Let me hold with Dundee United. So obviously I didn't really know about football that much, but at that time. But those were my early memories. Just obviously putting on my boots, trying to play in the back garden, playing football 24/7, basically, smashing the ball in the house. My mum getting mad. Yeah. You know what I mean? Alistair, stop! You can't keep playing football. One of those ones. So I was just wanting to play for a team. Yeah.
And how did that progress to maybe joining a team or something like that?
Where we lived, it was like a big cul-de-sac. It was like loads of little different roads, and it was one way in, one way out. And there was loads of kids on this big massive cul-de-sac. So we was all playing football in the street. So I'll go down the road to my friend's house, and then he'll come to my house, and there's always football on the street. Yeah. I think a lot of smashing windows with footballs. Yeah, it's just crazy, man. But there was loads of kids out. So the dad on that cul-de-sac started up a football team called Roslyn Rovers. Okay. So my brother played for the team, and I wanted to play, and I kept nagging my brother. I said, I want to play for a team? And he said, they ain't got a team for the young kids yet. And then eventually he did, and then I joined that team in maybe about 6. Okay. Yeah, about 6 years old. 6, 7. Yeah.
Okay, that's where it started.
Yeah, that's where it started.
Obviously, good team, good player. What was your attributes early? Where was you playing early?
So I was very fast, skillful. I was strong because I always played with my brother. Okay. So I always had to play with the older kids, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because I always play with my brother and my sister and whatever. Yeah. And it was like, when you play with the older people, they didn't want the little kid around. And if you get smashed in the ball with the in your belly or something like that, then it's like, oh, we got to stop the game.
Stop the game.
You know what I'm saying? For the little while, we can't tackle him too hard or whatever. So I've learned very early that that couldn't happen. So I always learned to toughen up. So I was very strong and quick.
Okay.
I say. So so I played in centre midfield at that time when I was younger.
So we had an interesting story, and I chuckled when you told me this. So when you were leaving that team to join Fulton Rovers.
Fulton Rangers.
Yeah. You said your first. Tell us a little bit about your first incident on joining that team.
So basically, my friend who also played for Rosedale Rovers, it broke up. So that team, Rosedale broke up. So I had to find another team. I was asking my mum for time. Nothing never happened. Like say 5 months has gone past or whatever. I'm just kicking the ball outside my house, and my friend Scott has driven past on a pickup van with his dad and someone else. And I was like, oh, where you lot going? And he's like, I'm going to play football. I said, can I come? And he's like, yeah. Knocked on the window, and my mum said, I'm going to play football with Scott. She's like, I think I'm going down the road. But literally, I jumped on the back of his pickup truck and we drove to the Mayfield playing fields. Yeah. So we went all the way down there, play training. They didn't realise how old I was either. I told them my date of birth. They said, no, you're not. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, you're too young. Yeah. And they's like, but wait, we still want you to play. Because they wanted to put me in the other team. And I was like, no, we'll play with you because you fit our team. Like, you're very good. So I played. My mum didn't have a clue. Because back in the day, it was loads of different those times. You say you go down the road to your friend's house, that was it. Do you know what I mean? And so the lights come on, you go back home.
The bit that made me laugh is, so I'm picturing now a 7-year-old playing outside their house who then suddenly just goes missing. Yeah. I can imagine the pandemonium. I'm talking about surely within half an hour to an hour, there's going to be police, sirens, everything. My child's gone missing. Back in the day, you've just jumped in your mate's back of your mate's dad's van and gone, and your mum's none the wiser. Yeah, well, at the moment.
Yeah, at the moment. So obviously when I came back, she's obviously up in arms. Where the hell did you go? Obviously she's not at Scott's door. They said, oh, they went football. It was because we were all very close. So it wasn't like wasn't something out of the ordinary. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll go sleep at his house one time. Or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So but she still didn't realise the magnitude of what was happening. I was playing for a Sunday team. Do you know what I mean? I was actually playing for a team, but she didn't believe me.
Okay. So then, what was that? How did you get them to make them understand that, look, this is real?
No, so I think a couple of weeks went by and I came home again with a tracksuit and a man of the match medal and a trophy. Okay. And my mum's like, what the hell's going
on here?
Yeah, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I said, I told you I paid for a team. And she's like, okay. Then they started to take interest. Okay. Yeah, my mum and my dad started to take interest after that.
Okay. So that's the introduction to the grassroots game. Yeah. How do the professional academies start getting integrated into your story?
Okay, so my first season at Fulton Rangers, I got scouted by West Ham and Port Elliot Academy.
In your very first season?
My first season. Okay. Yeah, so my first season, so I got scouted by those. I had interests from Fulham and Chelsea at the time as well, but Fulham didn't have a setup for me yet.
For that age group?
Yeah, for my age group. And I went to West Ham and Port Elliot.
So Port Elliot, that's the sort of ex-Chelsea, player. So he had his own academy.
Yeah, he had his own football academy. Okay. He took players that he thought was good enough in and around London, build them up as a player, feed them to clubs, basically. He was that guy, and eventually hoping to be an agent, I think, after that.
Okay, so that was the whole process of his machine. Yeah. But on the side of that, West Ham have shown interest anyway. Yeah. So what happens next? What's mum and dad thinking? What's your journey happening?
So we was all thinking that first my mum was that, because the scout come in, Paul Senior, said, we like Alistair, we wanted to come down for a training session, have a little trial. He knew my age, I think, but I don't think the actual team knew. I don't think the academy knew my age, because I was playing a year up. Okay. So, so we looked at where to go, and he's like, this is in Chadwell Heath. We're from Croydon. Yeah. You know, you have to take a bus, a train, overhead, and a tube to get there. My mum was like, we're going to have to do this straight away. Do you want to go? I was like, I'm so adamant. I want to be a football player. That was my dream. That was it. That's all I thought about. So I just said, we're going, man. And my mum said, okay. And she done what she had to do.
Okay. Yeah. So you get down to West Ham. What's the training like? What's the environment like compared to your Sunday setup?
Yeah, it was totally different, man. It was a bit more. Don't get me wrong. It was fun, but you didn't know all the kids, so it was a bit more cold. If I say, like, I'll try and make friends, and it weren't really happening, and like, I don't think. Yeah, it just wasn't the same. It was a bit more serious.
Serious, yeah.
Yeah.
What about the coaches and their attitude towards
the coaches were cool, man. There was one coach, Jimmy Frith.
Okay.
Jimmy Fife. He's been at West Ham for years. He was always bubbly and stuff like that. He was cool, man. Yeah, he was cool.
Mm-hmm. So we're doing this journey. There was a time when you said your mum's taking you down there, and then your dad's come to pick you guys up to then drop you back. And then that brought to light for me something. So I just want the viewers to know that. So the situation with your mum and dad were, although they were together, they weren't necessarily in the same household.
So my dad wasn't, he wasn't in a household like that. He would stay like 3 days sometimes, and then obviously go where he's got his other place in Ealing and stuff like that. But he worked, because he worked up there, so he worked very hard as well.
Okay.
So,
so it was easier for him to have this house in Ealing.
Yeah, so this made a little bit more sense, you know what I mean?
Okay, so he would do his best to help in terms of the journey in, but it's really mum that was taking the main...
Yeah, she done all the hard... Well, not all the hard work. I won't say all the hard work. She done most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, she done most of it. Okay,
so we're at West Ham. You're in your age group at this stage. You're sort of under 7s, under 8s.
Well, I was... turning 8 years old, so but I'm there going training with the under 8s, under 9s.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they basically saw that I was maybe not fitting in or struggling. Then they asked me how old I was, and asked my mum. And we told them. They said, "Oh, Alistair's younger then." Okay. It's like, okay, that makes a bit more sense. We were dropping down to his age, because that's when they started bringing in my age group.
Okay.
So then that's when stuff started to progress, shall I say, at West Ham a bit better.
Yeah. So take us on to the journey then. Like when there's a decision come where they say at under 9s, because under 9s is the age where they have to sign you or give you a contract.
Yeah.
What's the build up to that?
I can't remember too much, but I know it was, I don't know, it was weird. It was just like exciting. I think just signing a contract, and I think that's it, man. I'm a professional football player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At 8 years old, I'm going to play. That's it. That's a matter. You know what I mean? But it didn't kind of work that way, and me and West Ham weren't. There was like a couple incidents where me and my mum wasn't happy, and my dad. So
okay,
yeah.
Like what? Do you want to elaborate on?
So basically, like little things like I would always get the letters late of that matches or whatever happened. There was one time they left me. I phoned up. My sister's phoned up and said, Ali's going to be late. It's like, yeah, no worries. We'll be like 15 minutes late, 10 minutes late. Yeah, no worries. I got to the training ground. Gone. Do you know what I mean? And I think that might happen twice. I'm not too sure. Okay. So, and then there was another incident. There was a West Ham scout. Because at that time you could play for academy and your grassroots team.
Okay.
So I was still playing for my grassroots team, and there was like a tournament, a 5-a-side tournament, and there was a scout there, West Ham scout. There's a little altercation on the pitch. I got a yellow card, and like all the 5-a-side games, he's come over to me and my mum and said, "Oh, Alistair's a very good player. He would have been at West Ham if he didn't do what he done to my player." And mum laughed at him and said, "He's already at West Ham." So then he went on a rant and a rage, effing and blinding at me and my mum.
Bearing in mind you're only 8 years old.
Yeah, exactly. and telling my mum he's gonna tell Tony Carr, Alistair won't be playing at West Ham, blah 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 blah. And every like tournament I would go to, he'll be there saying stuff on the sideline that Alistair, you're not good enough, or Alistair has a bad touch. You know, little things, but never doing it when my dad's around. Yeah, but he's a big man. Yeah, big man.
Having little jibes and little comments at an 8-year-old kid, and he's representing West Ham.
Yeah, and me and my mum spoke to Tony Carr about it, and he said because he wasn't in West Ham colours, wasn't working at the time, there's nothing that he can do. He can maybe talk to him, but that's about it. And me and my mum was kind of like.
So although you're being signed by at this stage sort of a Premiership club, or you know, and it looks rosy, you've already had one or two bad experiences that are leaving a bad taste in the mouth. So what are you thinking? Are we thinking of pursuing this West Ham journey, or are we thinking should we be looking elsewhere? I'm going to say we, about your parents and everybody.
Yeah, because, do you know what? It was, I don't know, that's a tough question. I can't even remember, but I knew that I like playing for West Ham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like going training, I like playing for West Ham. But I just didn't like the way the behind the scenes they treated us. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I was still there.
Yeah.
I was still there. I think everything started to die down a little bit.
And settled down.
Yeah, so I was still there.
So we signed up as an under 9, and you did that first season.
Well, I think under 8. I signed up under 8.
So
under 8s.
You signed the pre-agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're doing that first season.
Yeah.
Talk us through that journey. What happens next?
Yeah, so basically I was at West Ham playing a few matches. We trained like once a week, and then we had matches on Saturdays, had little tournaments and stuff like that. I was doing very, very, very well. Then another tournament come up, and then Arsenal came in for me.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'm gone. Plus everything was happening.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, I'm gone. I'm not staying at West Ham. Plus I support Arsenal.
Okay.
So I was like, yes, I'm gone. My mum reminded me, and I said, you can't, we've got a contract, blah, 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 blah. So West Ham found out that was happening.
Yeah.
Then everything changed.
So you said the way they were treating you began to change.
Began to change, totally different. Tony Carr, my mum, saying, we want Alistair to stay. We give him like a big contract. By 16, he'd be playing with the first team. They pulled out the stops. They took me and my brother to the first team training ground when they was training. Well, I've been training there, but when the first team was training, I met obviously Rio Ferdinand, Lampard, Joe Cole, Ian Wright, Trevor Sinclair, Harry Redknapp. So it was just,
So just to stop you there for a second. So this is why I said to the audience that your story's entertaining as well as education, as well as emotional. And the entertaining things are things like this tickle me.
Yeah.
So they've gone from leaving you a couple of times for games.
Yeah.
You're running 10 minutes late, they couldn't wait, they're gone. Giving you letters to events that are happening late. You're always the last one to receive it. So they're kind of treating you quite, you know, quite not too fairly.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they get wind Arsenal's interested in you. And now you're being introduced to Rio Ferdinand and, you know, and all that says to me is how fickle some of these football clubs actually are.
Yeah.
You know, and how sometimes they can have such a good asset, not realise it until somebody on the outside realises it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they scramble around to do everything to keep you happy when they should have been doing that anyway.
In the first place, exactly. But, and I was basically just meeting all the players and gone into the room. Harry Redknapp's there.
Okay.
So Ali, stay at West Ham BSR, signed off a little calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was just
so they're giving you the royal treatment at the moment.
So no longer, me and my mum are not longer getting on the train. They bang a guy to come and pick me up from my house and took me to training.
So
and to matches.
So there's two train journey, 2 bus journey now.
Done.
Eradicated. Now they're sending chauffeur to your house to pick you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we staying?
No.
So what happened?
So basically that happened. So through all this process, they offered me a contract, another one, and I turned it down. Spoke to the Arsenal scout who scouted me at the time. He said, Ali, just don't sign a contract. You're coming to Arsenal. Don't worry. Wait out your contract there. And as soon as it's done, we're bringing you in. So, so after that, West Ham still tried to make me come to a match, I think, for West Ham against Man United, and make me come in and meet all the other players again.
Yeah, of course.
So, like, still tried to bribe me.
Trying to get you to
I was
stay.
just locked off. I was like, Arsenal.
But you've kind of made your mind up.
Yeah, made the mind up
now.
Go
to the team I support, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
You see out the year, because you obviously signed the year contract. You see out the year, end of the year, you're not going to sign for West Ham. You're going to make the transition to Arsenal.
Yeah.
How does that go? Is it a smooth transition? Does that...
So, no. So that was a mad one again.
Okay.
It weren't mad, but it was like, we got the impression like it was like maybe almost a done deal.
A done deal.
Got there, played, done well, and they was just like dragging it out. dragging it out. So I was there for like 3 weeks at first, and mum was like, "What's going on?"
On almost a trial basis.
Yeah, on a trial basis. Yeah,
Even though they'd kind of, in a way, convinced you to leave West Ham to come to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're still putting you on trial as opposed to just signing you up. Interesting.
Yeah. So, and there was another kid that lived down the road from me that I know very well, Sean Cloesi.
Okay.
They took him from Fulham and done the same thing, but then he signed before I did.
Oh, okay.
So I was now there for 6 weeks.
Okay.
So my mum said the last thing we had a tournament.
Yeah.
The last tournament, she said, if you don't sign him, we're gone. Do you know what I mean? We're not staying here no longer.
Happening?
This is the last day. What's happening?
Yeah.
So he said, we will talk about it after the thing. What's happening? Scored like 7 goals in the tournament. Come back. They said, we're signing Alistair. Signed the contract at Highbury.
Okay. So how's that for you guys and the family, signing for Arsenal Football Club?
Yeah, once again, man, I just thought, I made it, man. You're right, man. That was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, so at Highbury as well, like signing your contract, like in there, just looking where I'm thinking, like as a young kid, just thinking that one day I could be playing here, man. Do you know what I mean?
I must say, what I know now of the academy system now, to have the likes of West Ham, Arsenal, that type of football club sniffing around you means you must have had quite a talent, because those type of clubs are quite vigilant on who they offer contracts to. So you must have been some player. I'm going to fast forward the story a bit because you stayed at Arsenal successfully for about 4 seasons, I believe. 4 to 4 seasons. But then all good things come to an end. How did the Arsenal journey end after the fourth year? Yeah,
so basically, so a new manager came in.
Okay.
Paul Davis.
Okay.
Ex-Arsenal player.
Yeah, if you remember Paul Davis, David Rocastle.
Yeah.
It's that period. So he came in as the manager of your under 14 team.
Yeah, and we just didn't see eye to eye.
As in you and him.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I think it was just maybe he was more serious. It wasn't fun anymore. It didn't make stuff interesting. A lot of stuff to me was boring. And his whole attitude and demeanor, I didn't think that he liked me.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to play.
Yeah.
At that point, I got to a point where I didn't really want to go training. Like, I would go training everywhere. Like, I also played for Port Elliot at the time as well. So I'll still go training for Port Elliot.
Yeah.
But if my mum said I missed training for Port Elliot, I would get upset. But if she said, we got to miss training for Arsenal, I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't care?
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
But for the last 3 years, that's been your bread and butter.
I liked it.
But it changed. One of the things you said, that Paul said to you was you didn't like maybe concentrate at times, or you lacked a bit of concentration and stuff like that. And then I asked you, because I know a lot of footballers, when they're doing their football, they're kind of fine, but then little bits like concentration relates back to how you might have been in a classroom.
Yeah.
And we talked about, did you suffer from, some sort of focus stuff, ADHD, or, some of these stuff that go on?
I didn't.
And you said you didn't necessarily,
but
then you said later on you kind of got sort of diagnosed or dyslexia or something like that.
Yeah. So,
and again, I just wonder sometimes with our young kids that sometimes they have some symptoms of stuff going on, and because it's not diagnosed early enough in the journey, then they just get branded as, he doesn't concentrate or he doesn't do that, not knowing that there's little things also behind. So that's what I was thinking about when it came to that journey. That I don't know if your dyslexia or stuff had been diagnosed earlier. Would that have made any difference? Would that have made any difference to Arsenal, to the way they might have treated you, Paul, for example?
No, I don't think, because that was like a learning issue.
Yeah.
But I didn't think with football I was like a genius.
Mindset.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, I'm not saying I was a genius, like mad, like crazy out there, but I knew what I was doing. I learned football. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like top of the class football, but when it goes to learning in school, it was different. Do you know what I mean?
So we'd put it down to just Paul's regime.
Yeah, to me, it just didn't. Yeah.
So we come into the end of the year. Then you've not had a good year.
Yeah.
You've missed training.
Yeah, quite a few sessions.
To
pull me up.
So for me, there's an air of inevitability about what's going to happen next.
Well,
To me,
Yeah,
just hearing the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Maybe not to you as the player, but to me.
No, because they told me and my mum that he's definitely going to get another 2 years.
Okay,
So
that might have been prior to you making sessions, though.
Yeah, obviously it must have been. You know what I mean? The relationship between me and Paul, obviously, you went a different way.
Okay.
So
So end of season, you're getting
end of the
your report.
season, went into that's how bad it was. Like I didn't not saying I didn't care, but I didn't even go to the meeting. Usually, like everyone just goes with their parents to the meeting.
Of course,
I weren't
to
there.
find out whether you're going to get signed
I didn't
or not.
care. Like I was at my friend's house. My mum was there.
So your mum went to the meeting.
Yeah, my mum went to the meeting, and I got a phone call straight away at my friend's house, and she just started crying down the phone. Said, "Alistair, they released you. What are we gonna do?" I just said, "I said, it's all right, mum. Don't worry. We'll find another team. Just get on the phone to Paul. Everything will be all right. We'll be cool, man."
And at this stage, when you're saying Paul, it's about Paul Elliott,
yeah,
who you've always been going to his academy,
since
and
8 years
he's
old.
obviously at some point going to present himself as your representative, your agent, so forth. Okay,
yeah,
So you say to mum, we're going to chat to Paul and see what we're going to do next.
yeah. So so that happened. The excuse that Arsenal gave as well was they didn't think I would be strong enough, or my height might hinder me and stuff like that because they're mixing the ages and stuff like that. They didn't think I would be good enough, and the only team that might take me would be like a semi-pro team.
That's what Arsenal kind of said in your report.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, and I know I did fast track a little bit, but there were periods in those first 3 years you was at Arsenal where you were being deemed as one of the top players in London at an academy.
Yeah.
You know, so you've gone from being one of their top players to now they don't think
they don't
you're going to make it at all.
Yeah.
Not make it at Arsenal. They don't think you're going to make it at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, that was kind of shocking to hear as well from one of the person you said it was Roy Massey, who he showed me so much love when I was at Arsenal. So much love. So it was kind of strange to hear it from. But I didn't really. I just dusted it off, and then kind of got on with it, man.
Okay.
And gone on to the next bit.
So the next bit is what?
So I got a call from Chelsea straight away, but I was still going through growing pains. So I still had a Oscar Slatters. Exactly. They call it Oscar Slatters. So I had my knee. So I had a trial, and I was playing through the injury, which I shouldn't have, but I played, and they said I wasn't good enough. So another knockback, almost.
And although that sounds ruthless, again, for the parents and stuff, when your teams like Chelsea, they are, ruthless with the information. If they're not going to waste anyone's time. So if you're not good enough, they're not going to pander around and put you here and put you there. They will just say straight away, not for us.
And I weren't there for 6 weeks. I was there for like maybe 3.
Okay.
3. Had a little tournament afterwards, and after the tournament, even though I scored and I think I'd done well, even though I was injured, they just said, no, you're not good enough.
Okay.
See you later.
So we're still desperate to be a footballer. That's
still, but there's nothing else. It was nothing else.
You've done West Ham for a year. You've done Arsenal for 4 years.
Yeah.
Chelsea have just said we're not good enough.
Yeah.
Quite easy for someone to say, you know what, this is getting hard work.
Yeah.
But you're still got the flame burning.
Yeah, because I was still playing for Paul at the time. Mm-hmm. So he always believed in me as well. So I had someone there who's been in the football world who knows a lot about football. Mm-hmm. And I was still playing, so it weren't like I wasn't playing against these other academies either.
Exactly.
So because he will arrange matches against other academies. So that's when because we went to like a Ian Rush tournament. They called it in Wales. Yeah. And we won that tournament, and then from that I got
new interest.
From that tournament, and so I went to a couple of teams up north. So I went to Everton on trial. Went to Nottingham Forest on trial. I went to Newcastle on trial, and I went to Celtic.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, going on trial to these different clubs, in and out, as in not really getting a firm offer from one of them at the moment.
Yeah.
Doing that whole circuit, none of them really worked out.
Everton was a funny one. So gone down there, pulled out all the stops as well.
Yeah.
Again, took us to the game, everything. Me and my, I think it was me and my mum. I think it was me and my mum first. The second time, they banged me back down again, played another game. Afterwards, they basically said, they think I'm too skillful. Don't anyone down London want Alistair?
When you said that to me the first time, I actually laughed. But how strange! What a strange thing to say. You're too skillful.
Yeah, they don't. That's not the way they played. That's what basically what they were saying. It's not the way we play. And
it's also funny they said, don't any of the teams in London want you. As if to say, London's where you get away with all that. Yeah. We don't really do that up here.
We don't do that. Yeah. So my dad was like, what, can't you work on them with it? They was like, I'll talk to one of the guys and see what's happening, but for now we'll talk to Paul and see what happens.
See where they take
yeah. But then they said they didn't want. Newcastle had training, so went up there for training. Had a game. Come in. Peter Beardsley said, "You're not better than what the boys that we've got here." And that was the end of the Newcastle one. Okay. Yeah, went to Celtic. Trained. They liked me. They wanted me to come back. But by then I went to Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
So I went to Nottingham Forest again. Played well. Done excellent. They liked me. Brought me back again. Liked me again. And they offered me something.
So Nottingham Forest actually.
Yeah. So they offered
willing to put a contract down. At age 14. Okay. Why was that not signed? What happened?
So I played a game with Paul Elliott. Played a game against Charlton, and they wanted to see me, so they wanted a trial. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go Charlton. Went Charlton, and I just thought it was because it was more close to home. Yeah. So I think that would rather be the best option.
Yeah.
So
you've gone to Charlton.
So I've gone to Charlton
on a trial.
So gone to Charlton on trial, and. So same thing happened again with the whole logging out the process. So Nottingham Forest has offered me a contract. So they've offered me YTS.
Okay.
So they offered me like
your
YTS.
remaining 2 years.
Yeah. So so they was going to bring me in at YTS level. Okay. So because it was so far, I think at a certain age you can't leave, so you would still come up and play games in like little weekends or half term, when it's break of school. But when you're going to be in for YTS in digs, and then they offer me a 1 year pro as well. So that was on the table, but I wanted to see what Charlton was saying because it's so close to home.
Yeah, of course.
So so that was me and Paul, my mum, my dad was like, okay, let's just see what Charlton's gonna offer. But for some reason, Steve Avery, who's the academy director now down at Charlton, he kept longing out the process. So I was supposed to be playing the game, so I was training, but I wasn't playing. Okay. So every week I'll come. It's like, oh no, you're not playing this week. Okay, no, sorry, you're not playing this week. But I'm training, not playing this week, not playing. So my mum's gone to Paul, like, what the hell's going on? He's not playing, but he's training. It doesn't make sense. How are they going to see him?
Yeah.
So the under 15 or 16 coach at the time, I think it was under 16 coach, Carl Larriman, who's at Arsenal at the moment. He dragged me and my mum in the office and said, don't know what's going on, but I want you to play for my team.
Okay.
So
which were they under 16?
Yeah.
So you're an under 14.
Yeah.
He's saying come and play with the 16.
Yeah. So there was me and Miles Weston and James Walker, who's the same age, that all actually played up.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, just play with me. Don't know what they're doing now, but you're gonna play with my team. Okay. So that's what happened.
So you were going in playing matches with the 16s.
Yeah. So
doing well.
Excellent actually. But so I think after the 2 or 3 games, they offered me a 2-year deal. Paul said, no, that's not good enough. So we want at least YTS.
At least get the scholarship.
Yeah, at least 4 years or whatever it was. So that's what happened. It was like, okay, we need to see him more then. So we can't make a decision at this time. So we need to see him more. So I kept playing games. And every week I'll say, Mum, what are they saying?
Yeah. But again, like, when you're saying playing games, you're playing games with the 16s, not with your own age group.
No, it was weird. So I didn't play, not a lot. I think once or twice I played, but not often. was only when I signed that's when they paid me my own.
back down.
They didn't put me back down, but they mixed the two. With the best players that they had in their youth system. They mixed the two up. So we was playing people with people who were scholars and people who was in school who's my age. So they was mixing the two. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but at first I was just playing with them like, on Saturday because I think they wanted to test me to see if I was worth the lengthy contract.
Of course,
So that's what I think they was trying to
happen. So again, just to summarise that little episode, you were 14 at the time. Nottingham Forest effectively offered you a 5-year contract, which would have been your 2 years to take you up to the YTS.
And
which is called then, which these days we call it a scholarship. And also they were offering a 1-year pro, so they were effectively offering you a 5-year deal at the age of 14. Charlton offered you a 4-year deal, which was basically your current 2 years to take you up to the YTS and then the 2 years YTS. But they didn't offer you the pro bit on the top. So effectively, because it was closer to home and stuff, is that why we took Charlton instead of Forest, who were offering you a pro on top of it?
Yes, and plus my age, Paul, he was on the board of Charlton. So it made a lot of sense.
More sense to
do you know what I mean? But looking back now, I should have made sure we went to Nottingham Forest, but it's never here or there, and it should have, would have, could have.
So you've signed that. So I want to sort of take a little directional change whilst we're talking about Charlton. So, because right now, although the story's been up and down and we've moved clubs and we've jumped, you've still lived or living out what most young boys would want to do. Because, you know, most young boys don't even get this chance. You know, they're stuck at their grassroots team and they're desperate for an opportunity. Here you are, you've already tasted West Ham, Arsenal, we're now at Charlton, you know, so you're kind of living a slightly different role. So you're doing well. Back home, and when you're with your mates and doing stuff, I understand it from our conversation. There's a totally different sort of life and day-to-day sort of things happening.
So, so stuff started to change about year 8, I reckon. My mum and my dad broke up. So didn't really see that much of him, only at football. Like, he would try and take me to football and stuff like that. So stuff started to happen.
How did you feel? So let's not fast track that bit. So you say mum and dad broke up. What does that do to a young child of 14, 15? When you see that the two people that you sort of cherish the most, almost, you know, going their separate ways. How did you feel?
Like a lot of stuff. I think a lot of stuff was happening at that time. There was just like should I say, it wasn't a hostile environment. But it was very there's little arguments here and there. A lot of stuff was going on. My sister didn't have the greatest relationship with my mum. My brother's doing whatever he's doing. I'm just watching on, basically. Do you know what I mean? And I'm very aggressive and argumentative person as it is anyway. By nature. But so it just kind of, I don't think it affected me. I didn't think it did affect me, but looking back now, it most of me did. I definitely know it did. But just I just think that maybe it was normal, because loads of my friends' parents, they didn't even have a dad. Some of them, like, you know, they know who their dad is. You know what I mean, or their dad is not interested, or whatever the story is. So for me, it was like, I didn't think it really affected me. It's kind of like the norm.
Just the norm. From your sort of side.
You know what I mean.
So that's happened. What else is going on?
So obviously the environment growing up, then just the stupid road stuff started to happen a little bit. You know what I mean? You know, like carrying knives.
And what is that all about, though? You say carrying knives. I remember we had our chat and you said, you know, most boys go to school with their rucksack full of books.
So
you're going to school with your rucksack and you've got knives in your bag. Like, what was that all about?
Like, we just had a lot of beef on the road. Like, it was just, at one point, it was very, should I say now, if you look back at it now, at that age, it was scary. But I wasn't, like, we didn't think of it was scary, but if you talk about it at a different age, you look about what you actually done or what you witnessed. It was very scary, man. Like, sometimes you couldn't even get on the bus to go, like, where you going, or going to school even. It was, like, hard. So, you know what I mean? I started to get caught up in all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. One thing you said that really hit home with me was you didn't join a gang. It's not like you joined a gang.
Yeah, so we weren't.
It was just like people you grew up with.
Exactly. So I always tell people that from where I look at it, I've known these people either from primary school, from year 8 onwards. I don't know no one in my circle. There's no one who I've just joined the gang. There's this people and I've just joined in, ran with them. That's never ever happened to me, not once. So everyone I know with, I know their mum, I know where they live. I've been in their house, I've slept over. My mum knows their mum. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very tight. So so to me, it wasn't a gang. It was almost like family. Do you know what I mean? So and I witnessed other people who have been in gangs and stuff like that or whatever. They didn't ever had that connection. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like that. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't class it as what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? So my view on things was totally different.
Totally different, yeah. And one thing he said to me again that really hit home was, so if I'm walking down the street with a friend who I've grown up with, who I've slept over with, just me and my friend, and something happens or some people are going to cause trouble towards my friend, I'm not just going to stand by and let that run. That's not
I wasn't. Yeah, because I wasn't that type of person. I was, as I said to you before, I was very like young. I was the face, aggressive, loud. So you're not just gonna touch my friend and he's there, and I'm gonna run away or do something. No, not do nothing like that. One of those things. So, and the worst thing as well, not a lot of people, unless you knew me. Not many people knew I even played football. So it was one of those things of like, he's like us. He's not a football player. He's like us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was very hard to get away from all of that because those were my friends and that was their life, where I had like a separate life to get away from as well, so I could relieve some stress playing football. And they couldn't. So they was constantly in that. So when I go back to them, it's like, constantly around me 24/7. Do you know what I mean?
So the reason why I wanted to sort of stop the story to bring that episode there was when we talk about you at Charlton, you obviously did the 2 years that you had to do to continue, and then you became a scholar, YTS boy. And then I said to you, you know, what were some of the sort of objectives they would have laid out to you? You know, what improvements might they have wanted to see to you? And you'll talk about your positional awareness was one of the things they wanted you to work on, score more goals, stuff like
work
that.
On my left foot.
Work on your weaker foot. And then we talked about consistency of performances. And obviously when you are in the daytime being Alistair John, the footballer, and almost in the nighttime having a totally different battle when you're with your mates and stuff that's going on, it's very hard to potentially come back the next day and be consistent, depending on some of the stuff you've seen or doing. So how was that juggle? How were you able to juggle these two very different hats that you're going to have to wear?
To be fair to you, it was just in me. I just felt like it was just life. It was normal. Like, to me, I didn't know if that was a part of my being inconsistent at times. But I just felt like this is what I've grown up like this. Do you know what I mean? From like year 8 onwards, like all the trouble and stuff like that. So I've grown up like this. This is normal for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like certain things now, I'm coming in with broken hands and black eyes and stuff like that.
So you're going to the football almost injured. As you say, black eyes, hands hurt, all this stuff going on. There's a part of you that saw that as normal.
Yeah, for me, it was just kind of, not to say like normal, but for me, I didn't think it was a big deal. Until I started my scholarship.
Okay.
They basically gave me an ultimatum.
Charlton Football Club.
Yeah.
Okay.
They saw what was going on.
Yeah.
I think,
when they say you saw what was going on, right, as in your appearance when you was coming to the club.
there was one
the black eyes, the hands.
Yeah,
and
so there
stuff.
was one incident where I got hit in the head with a hammer, and I got knocked out. And I came to my mum, told them, like, because we had a game or whatever. My mum told them, and I think that was the last straw of like everything. There's like, yeah, this is, and plus I was going to training with my friends, and that wasn't allowed.
Yeah. So your friends were turning up to training.
Yeah. Well, not turning up. I bring them.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
You're
Yeah.
bringing
So I
it,
bring them, and I remember one time Steve Avery was like, "They're not allowed to come here." And I was like, "Oh, they're just watching. They're my friends." Yeah, but Alistair, this is an academy. They're not allowed to do this. I let you do this once.
Yeah.
But don't ever bring them again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously at that time,
And is that because what they were intimidating the look
most
of them?
most probably, and it's not professional, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah, no one else done it. So why was I?
Why
allowed to
was
do
you
it?
doing it? Yeah.
And so I think that's what kind of happened. And then
So what was the ultimatum?
the ultimatum was, if I don't stay in digs, they turn up my contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're saying, even though as we had a little chuckle, that obviously digs are normally for potentially those that live far away, the European boys, international players. For someone that lived relatively close to the complex, they still wanted you in digs to almost keep you totally away from this life that was going on outside, and concentrate, most importantly, on being a footballer, because you're here to be a professional footballer. So obviously we're going to take this deal on, aren't we, really?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I tell you that. I was like, they gave me the option of going home at the weekends.
Okay.
So it made it a bit easier.
That made it easier for you.
Yeah, my mum was like, Alistair, you got to do this. Like, there's no way around
Didn't your
it.
mum want you to be in the digs just for your own safety anyway? Just for, if she see that, I mean, you said it so casually just now, I got hit in the head with a hammer. That is, that's not normal. That could kill you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
as a parent of somebody, surely your mum wanted you to, for your own safety even. Alistair, go and stay in the digs.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, most probably, but I don't really know if she thought it was for the safety or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
She most probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she most probably wanted me to go for
Yeah.
the safety. But at that time, I had a lot of people around me. So I'm talking about friends, innit? So I thought I was safe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, so we went anyway.
Yeah. So
we
you're
went.
doing the digs, you're in there, you're playing your football, your first year, Scotty told me in your first year you was doing really well on the pitch, so football wise we're getting on. What the relationships, so what's the digs? There was a landlady. Who are you actually staying with in the digs?
So it was a landlady, I forgot her name.
Yeah.
Landlady downstairs, and we had that at the top flat. And there was a couple players, a player who's playing now, Darren Randolph. He was living in
That's the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the goalkeeper. And I think there was about four other boys. One from Ireland, I think one from Turkey or Slovakia or somewhere like that, and two other English boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a few of you in the house.
there was a few of us.
All kind of getting on.
Yeah. Do you know what? As we skipped it a bit about the Charlton bit, I fell in love back playing football after the whole Arsenal thing and stuff. As soon as I got to Charlton, I felt like loved. Do you know what I mean? I felt like, plus I knew Miles Weston that was at Arsenal before as well. He was there. Like, people knew of me. Do you know what I mean? From playing from Arsenal, and our youth team was very connected.
Okay,
you know what I mean? It was very like family almost. Like, it was very cool. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't nothing like Arsenal.
Okay,
do you know what I mean? For last year,
very important that you actually throw that in there, because people loving what they're doing, loving the style of play, loving the people they're with, can only help to bring the best out of you as a player anyway.
Yeah. So the digs, it was cool, man.
Yeah,
digs was cool, but I think the landlady or whoever's looking at us had a stereotypical view of me.
Okay.
I didn't come into the house with a great image because I bring again with just my mum, and everyone has their induction into the house.
Of course.
Everyone bring the mum or dad sitting down. I bring my two friends with their hoodies up and all that, and my mum's there, and I'm there with my hoodie up, thinking this is
what's
I
going
don't
on.
want to be.
I don't want to be here.
Do you know what I mean? And so a bit of a bad attitude. But apart from that, the place was cool, man. You know what I mean? The place was all right. I just think she just had a little bit of a stereotypical view of me.
Yeah.
That's all.
So how did that potentially manifest itself as it went on?
Yeah, so there was one incident that led me to actually leave the digs.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was only there for like 6 months.
Okay.
So,
even though this was on the back of a big ultimatum, say, listen, you got to be in the digs or we're not interested, we're going to take out your contract. Why did it only last 6 months? What happened?
So little things will happen and I'll get the blame for them. So she'll go back to my manager. There'll be like little talks, oh boys, you can't do this, where Alistair, I'm here and you're doing. I said, no, that weren't me.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, well, this is what she said. And I said, oh, this is mad, this is not me, it's not me, that's not what's happening. He's like, okay, cool. I remember her saying one time, my friend who plays for Charlton, come from college, we both come from college, come to the digs just before we had to go to training.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, who are you then? And she said, oh, I'm James. So thinking that she remembers him from the football pitch training.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, you one of Alistair's friends who steals cars too? So I was looking at her, I was thinking, and he looked at her and he's like, no, I'm James, I play for Charlton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she's looking at him like, oh, okay, like kind of think it was funny, but I didn't find it funny.
Yeah, of course.
So, and then there was another incident where something like food was getting thrown around the house, and it was a weekend, like the other boys didn't go home. I was allowed to go home.
The one that was going home, yeah.
So she stopped me and tried to tell me I wasn't going home. I said, I'm going home. It weren't me. You need to talk to them. I'm going home. My mum's outside. I'm gone. She had an argument. We had a little argument, and then I left basically. And then Monday training in the morning, my manager pulled me aside and said, what's going on, basically? Why did you leave when you got told not to leave? You was meant to clear up. What happened when you thrown route? And I said, no, that weren't me. I said, I want to leave. I told Mark Robson at the time was my manager. I want to leave. Like, this is not helping me.
Yeah.
We put you in there for a reason. I think like you've had a good season so far. I think you've done well, and we want you to keep on track. But if you leave now and you fuck up, that's on you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you this chance to decide.
Yeah.
Come back with me what you want to do.
What you want to do, yeah.
I left.
So you decided to leave the digs.
Yeah.
That, the way it was going, you'd rather be at home and you'll take the responsibility to still keep your head down and keep your football on track.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we get into your second season as a YTS. Yeah. And I said to you at the time, now the second season, most boys, you've made it this far. It's all about now hopefully securing your pro contract. Yeah. You've got to hit the ground running. You've got to bang the season out and get a pro contract. And I said to you, at what stage in that second season, was you anxious or thinking, when are they going to tell me something? And your response to that, it was quite amusing for me. But what was your response when I said, you seem to think that this pro was just going to happen anyway, because of the way you was playing, like you weren't really anxious about it. You just thought it was something that was going to happen.
Yeah. So, because in my first year, like I was performing very well. I was playing with the first team. I was playing reserves games. Yeah, so I just kind of thought it was like almost a given. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like first, like speaking to first team managers, like obviously Curbs at the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's Alan Kirbishley.
Yeah, Alan Kirbishley.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was hope for me. Do you know what I mean? For me to progress.
To progress, yeah.
So not saying it was a given, but I weren't that worried.
Okay.
So when I hit the second year, I didn't say I rested on my laurels, but my form did dip.
Okay.
But I had a lot of injuries that year as well that I felt like played a part in it.
Yeah.
But
and your hamstrings were part of the injuries, weren't they?
Yeah, so again, something happened with my knee.
Yeah.
And the hamstring kept going. My groin and hamstring just kept going, kept pinging.
And we kept saying maybe that's because, you know, your whole game is you're a fast winger, you're quite a stocky lad. So that explosiveness, you're testing out your groin and your hammies a lot. So I could imagine the strain that you was putting on those. So it was a bit of a stop-start season, second year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that kind of hindered it a bit.
Yeah. So let's get on track to the players getting their pros and not getting their pros. And, you know, so you said, again, it was quite amusing, but you said there was a player that you thought was a certainty to get his pro.
It was crazy. Everyone thought it was. He was the man.
Yeah.
Down there. He was the man.
What was his name?
James Walker.
Okay.
So he weren't even training with us. He was just training with the pros nearly constantly. Hardly playing with the youth team. Yeah. Training with the reserves and the first team. Playing all the first team's games.
Okay.
After the first year, he's YTS. He got a pro contract.
Okay.
So he's now getting paid
as a pro. Okay.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a certainty.
Yeah.
When we was all coming up to our pros, everyone's like, okay, James, you got yours. We was all talking about, what's going to happen? Who do you think's going to go? Who do you think's going to stay? Everyone had a certain idea. Obviously, the foreign kids, they really had their pros.
Okay.
So this is another thing that I want everyone to realise.
Okay.
You're not competing just people in England, but you're competing against the world, especially a high top class team.
Academy, yeah, of course.
There's going to be people flying in from everywhere that you don't even know, that have connections with people that scouts go across the world to see, and then you go there, your friend's gone, and the next thing you know, there's a guy from Finland that's in his place. You're thinking, how the hell did this happen?
What's happened? Yeah,
I don't even think he's even better than him. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of that stuff happened. So a lot of the European internationals kind of thing.
They got their pros quite early.
Yeah, so I think that's what. Yeah, so we already know the Irish boys already got their pros.
Okay.
The other boys who were from different other countries, they got their pros.
Okay.
So that they were scrapped out of the equation. So it's only like a couple left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe less than that, man. Do you know what I mean? So it was shocking to hear when we went up and said he never got his.
And that's the James Walker.
James Walker.
So he never got a second year extension on his pro.
Yeah.
He got his first year pro, but he didn't get an extension after that.
Yeah, so exactly. So
he said he was devastated.
I think so. He was. I think everyone was just shocked, and he was shocked as well. But you couldn't see it on his face. Like, you understand? There was another boy that everyone thought he was going to get a pro as well, but never got a pro. He just started crying, bursting out crying in the hallway. We didn't really see him again. Yeah. I saw him later on down in my career.
Yeah.
But
so now is there a little bit of anxiety in you now?
Yes, that's when the anxiety started to happen. Everyone's like, "Raw, James never got one."
Yeah,
flipping. No, how does this happen? Why? Everyone's thinking, and I still to this day, we don't know why he didn't.
He didn't. One. Yeah.
So, well, today I don't know why. He was a close friend as well, so I still don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I think from my age, it was. Yeah. So I went up. I got called up to the office with Alan Kirbysley, and he said, Alistair, I think you're a good player, but when he said but, my heart started to race. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay. He's like, but I think you don't want it enough. I think that sometimes you can be complacent. When you train with the pros, you stay safe instead of show me what you can do. Yeah. I'm not going to make a decision on you right now. I want you to show me what you can do, because I feel like you're just playing football to play football. Now, you know what to do. You're a good player, but I don't see the desire sometimes there. So I'll give you to the end of the rest of the season to show me what you can do.
So as I said to you when you told me that, it's almost like, that's amazing, because he's almost giving you a lifeline. Yeah. So he's not told you no, But he said, in the next, I think there was 2 months left or something.
Yeah.
Like in the next 2 months, show me how much you want this or can get over the line.
Yeah.
So what happened in the next 2 months?
Yeah, basically I just tried my
coming in
hardest,
early.
coming in early, trying to stay late after training, just doing what I can, basically. When I go to the training with the pros, start showing my ability instead of stop being safe, because a lot of the time when I was in my safe environment, I would do things that are magical and everyone's hearing about it, but when I go there, it's like I tense up and then I didn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's still wondering, like, why are people, what's going on? When he sees me in games, whoever comes watch games, he can see it.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, he sees everything that's going on, but when he comes to training, he's not witnessing it. So that's what I started to table. I started to try and bring it to the table. And that's what basically, that's what happened, man.
Okay. So at the end of the 2 months, gone back in. What's he said? What's happened?
So basically, there was I think a little kerfuffle happened at the training ground. I weren't too sure. I think all of us was in trouble or something like that. And I went down for training. Everyone because of the facilities. The first teams trained at the bottom.
Yeah.
The scholars trained at the top.
Okay.
So I went down on the way to go to my training.
Your training, yeah.
The reserve team manager stopped me and said, "What you're not training with them today?" Saying, "No one told you." I was like, "No." He's like, "No, you're training with us." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "I said, but Robbo's told me." He goes, "No. Snodding, his name was. You're training with us." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So go have your lunch or go have your breakfast and then report to us. I was like, okay, cool. So I've gone in there, had my breakfast. Mark Robson's come down, had a go at me. "What are you doing? You're supposed to be up there." I said, "No, because Snod's told me that I'm training with them today." So he goes, "Okay, well, I'll speak to him." Then he's come back and was like, "All right. Okay, cool." So that's when I kind of knew maybe I've got my pro.
Something was going on.
When it happened. But in that time, I caught mumps.
Okay.
So I think the next day I was coming in and I phoned the doctor and said, "I've got mumps," or whatever. And he said, "Okay, cool, come in. But Curbs wants to talk to you. He's going to phone you in a minute."
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, man, I haven't got it, maybe. Secretly, I thought, even though I felt, okay, maybe training with reserves, but when someone says, "Oh, but Curbs wants to talk to you. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, oh, maybe not, man. I don't know. So he phoned me and he's like, "Oh, Alistair, I just wanted to let you know that we're going to offer you a 1-year pro. Just come in, see the doctor. Well done. I've been impressed with you the last 2 months, and we'll see how it goes on from there. But, come in and see the doctor and go home."
So how do you feel this journey of ours, which we've started from 6 years old and we've gone up and now we've now got to the place where a professional football club's offering you a pro contract? I know you got mumps and it's probably uncomfortable, but how you feeling?
Over the moon, man. Ran my mum straight away. Ran my brother.
Yeah.
Ran my sister. My dad. Sorry. Like everyone, man. And everyone just hyped for me, man.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so basically everyone was just hyped.
Yeah.
I was hyped. I had a little bit of rest to think about everything as well. And my agent was like, "Ali, I already knew that you had it, but I just wanted to see if you can prove it."
If you can
know
prove
what I mean?
it, okay.
So it was just all over the moon.
So the next season, you sort of start the season on tour with the first team.
Yeah.
You've got your pro now. You go on tour with the first team. So what's some of the names around in that first team environment?
So as it happens, Alan Kirbyshire leaves the club.
Okay.
So the person that gave me my pro, that he's seen me for the last four years.
Yeah.
Or 7 years, how long I was there.
Yeah.
6 years, has now left. Ian Dowie has now came in. So now there's loads of new personnel. So obviously you still got Darren Bent still there, Jerome Thomas, Brian Hughes, Matt Holland. Then he's Horizon.
Okay.
Hasselbank came in, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Okay.
I Romadal left. I think he left.
Okay. So some quite household names that we know about. These are the guys that you're now sort of on par with. Although they're senior pros, but you're on par with them.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the relationship? So Ian Dowie, quite known for giving young players a chance, or
he was brilliant, man. And again, like my first year pro, hit the ground running. I was doing well. He was cool, man. He was good, man. He wanted to know, the only manager I ever knew, he wanted to know all the youth team players' names, all the way down to like the under 10s.
Okay.
So, and his way of coaching and everything suited more of the youth setup and stuff like that. I think it was a big change for the senior pros, like Marcus Ben and those guys. I think it was a bit. I don't know, man. I didn't think they took to him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sometimes players just don't take to them.
Yeah, of course.
So, it was kind of hard, man.
Okay.
I think for them to a manager to tell you, doesn't matter, or whoever. Like we have a big meeting, he says whoever's playing good. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're 19 years old, you're a first team pro, or if you're 18-year-old scholar, or 17-year-old scholar, and you're killing it. I will give you a chance.
Okay.
To hear that from maybe an older pro, hearing him say that, maybe must be going like, this is crazy.
Of course.
I mean, so
you started to get some appearances or some, on the bench or part of squads.
Yeah, so I was on the bench for Carling Cup. He put 3 of us on the bench, and one of the other youth players started, Nathan Ashton. So he was heavy invested in the youth.
Okay.
So I was in the squad against Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
So we've seen progression there.
Okay.
So there's one time I think he came down to watch me, and I had something wrong with my chest or something.
Yeah.
And he was a bit upset. So I think he was really interested in me. Yeah. So I was breaking in and around the first team. Do you know what I mean? And then the loan spells started to happen.
Yeah. And we talk about loan spells, that there's always 2 reasons why some of these clubs send their players on loan. One is either you're not quite cutting the mustard, and perhaps it's a way of trying to showcase you and help you potentially get another deal. The other one is potentially they do like you and they want you to go and, experience some of the man's game as it is in League 2, League 1, go and play some games where points matter, and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, how did you feel your loan? Because you went to Brighton first of all.
Yeah, so another team came in for me. I didn't even know who it was, but Ian Dowie said it was too low. So it's not. We're looking for something better. Alistair's better than that, so we're looking for somewhere better. So Brighton were doing well at the time as well, and they were League 1. So they wanted me to come down. On a month loan. Yeah. Yeah, so...
How did you take to that loan?
Oh, God. No one don't ever tell you this. Do you know what I mean? No one ever tell you that when you go down to these lower leagues.
Yeah.
Remember, I come from Premiership. So Charlton are Premiership at this time.
Yeah.
You go in there, your boots, all you carry is your wash bag. Your boots is there. They clean your boots. They hang up your clothes. Your kit's laid out. You have a big... dinner hall, you get your food, any type of fruit, salad, everything's all there. Pasta, the dinner ladies are there. Go up there like school almost, you know what I mean? Breakfast, everything's there.
Okay.
I went there and it was like a culture shock.
At Brighton?
Yeah, at Brighton. It was totally different. It was cold.
Yeah.
It was wet. Got there, they just handed my kit in my hand. Got to the done the first training session.
Yeah.
Come back in for lunch, and I'm expecting one of the guys, where do we go for lunch? Like, where's the dinner hall? And he's like, dinner hall. They pointed to the toaster and said, you either bring your food or have a bread, mate. Have a toast.
Have a bit of toast.
I was like, what? I was like, I have to bring my own food.
Yeah.
I was so confused.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, no way, man.
I laughed so hard when he told me that story, because it was like, on the one hand, I thought it's a little bit privileged of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was.
You've dealt with all these top clubs where everything's handed to you. You've now gone to I think they were League One at the time.
Yeah, League One at the time.
And even at League One, there's no restaurant, there's no food. You know, you're having to fend for yourself a bit. You said they handed you your kit. You know, it's not laid out and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and on the one hand, that made me laugh. But as you said, no one's preparing you for that. No one's told you about that. So you're going down there. So that could put you off your equilibrium. Just that environment. And now you're supposed to go on the pitch and perform. And they're looking at you like you've come down from the Premiership. So you're meant to come in and perform. And do something for us.
Yeah. The first game against Doncaster, I played well. He gave me 20 minutes.
Okay.
And like he even said that I like you. I played well, but because they were winning, he couldn't really change the team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Until they lost.
Yeah.
You understand? So so basically I'll get like 10 minutes here, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
This is on your loan period.
Yeah, on my loan period. So I wasn't starting the games. And then I think we lost the game. And he said, all right, you're starting the next game against Port Vale. I was like, how big that pitch is. Port Vale. I was like, got there and I'm thinking, the crowd is crazy. Like usually you don't hear the crowd. Like, I got the ball straight away, had a massive roar.
Okay.
That was it. And I was thinking, oh, man. He said, but I thought we lost that game as well. So changed the team again. But I thought I played well. Yeah, I just didn't take to it a lot. The training sessions, I didn't put my all in. Like they was a little bit like the managers were kind of complaining a little bit that I weren't putting as much effort in.
Okay.
As they expected.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You had the heart money on and I'm basically taking a piss and all the other players are running around like mad. I'm still doing my skills, still doing whatever I'm doing. Being flamboyant and everything, but they're like, you're not running.
You're not running. You know what I mean?
You're not making. Yeah. You're not putting a shift in, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, but why don't I need to put a shift in? The ball does all the work. So I'm being cocky. Do you know what I mean? I was like, feeling like this place is it's dead. Yeah, I just thinking, I just want to go back to Charlton. That's what my instincts are. I think I don't want to be here.
I want to go back to Charlton and do what's there. So that loan finishes, you're at Charlton. I'm going to put a little pause there and just go back. So what? Again, this is you now. You're a pro. Yeah. You're at Charlton. You're doing all your stuff. You're on the contract. I think you said, when you look at the money you earn on your contract, all of a sudden you're earning potentially more than your mum and your dad put together almost. So a young man, you can begin to see how football at its highest level can change one's life and one's fortune. Something came to my head when I was thinking about this podcast. If I had to give it a title, what would I call it? And one name that came to me is When the Sun Goes Down. So even though you're a pro, what was happening when the sun went down?
Even though the gang stuff or whatever you want to call it at a young age, that kind of went away. Now it's just, but I'm still rolling with people who are drug dealers. Some of them have been killers, robbers, trappers, whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm still in that environment. So like I'm going out to partying, like I'm here, and then I've got my friend trying to rob a chain right next to me in ministry. Do you know what I mean? And I'm pro. This time I'm pro. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm around all these things that's happening. So it just kind of, the partying went out of control. So I'm partying all the time, drinking. Like, so obviously I'm partying all the time. I'm drinking majority of the time. I started to put on weight as well. So
this is the bit that I have to interject. So this is the bit. So we've been fighting for this dream from young. You've been fighting for it. It's all you've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
And now you're there.
Yeah.
Some people don't make that journey. Some people don't last the journey. Some people don't get to the end.
Yeah.
You're now a professional footballer, but you seemed unable to sacrifice. And that's the word I have to use, because you're going to sometimes have to sacrifice certain things that you want to do and stuff, and be around friends and party to make sure you're a good pro. And that's why, when I was growing up, I always used to hear this term, a good pro. That, I would just pluck a name out of the hat, but someone like Gary Neville was a good pro, or his brother was a good pro. And what is that term, good pro? And it's almost like that, isn't it? It's like, you've earned this right to be a professional footballer, but I want longevity in my career. So to have longevity, I'm going to have to sacrifice X, Y, and Z to make sure my body and my mind's in the best conditions. At no point at this stage did you think, you know what, I am earning, quote unquote, some life-changing money. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. Were you not willing to make some sacrifices now? Did you not see that you had to potentially make some sacrifices to be a good pro?
No.
You thought you could juggle the two?
Silly how it sounds. I just thought I could maybe... Do you know what? Because I weren't doing them things that my friends were doing. Mm-hmm. Even though I was around them, don't worry, like the odd scuffle here and there, I'm involved. But I wasn't like, how can I say? I weren't selling drugs or anything. I weren't doing robberies or anything like that. I weren't setting up nothing. So for me, yeah, I might be around you, but I'm still focused on football. That's how I felt like. But obviously, you can't do the both. You just can't. And I should have sacrificed, but at that point, I didn't believe that I needed to sacrifice.
You needed to.
No, because I felt like I had enough talent to keep playing.
So one of the reasons we did this show right at the start of it was you're not alone in your story, and there's different other stories, different other aspects. But no matter what aspect, it always seems that young footballers, young professional footballers or young academy players on their journey to becoming professionals, even though they've got a professional club around them, and even though they might have mum and dad around them, and even though in your case you might have an agent around you, there still seems like there's a void of what I would call a good mentor.
Yeah.
Somebody that's going to rein you in and say, Alistair, this can't happen. This can't run. Yeah, we need you to be 10 years down the line. We still want you to be playing professional football. So in order for that to happen, X, Y, and Z can't run. It almost seems like too many young boys lack that person that is able to do that for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I would say that I didn't really bring drama to a lot of places, so it was hard for you to tell. I was very mature in the way sometimes the way I act. So it wasn't like loads of drama. There was drama, don't get me wrong, but you only hear it if you're out, or you see it when we're out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't like people coming to my house or stuff like that. It wasn't like blatant for everyone.
But you're talking about drama. You're talking about the extreme. I'm talking about the fact that you're in a nightclub drinking, and the more you party, the more you drink. Even that, what's that doing to your body? What I'm saying to you is
100%.
You need someone to say, Alistair, for you to be playing football at the highest level in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. So we're not talking about today or next week or next month. I'm talking about giving you longevity, giving you a vision that I want you still out there then. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about drama as in the pastor coming to your house. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about even the way you're conducting and looking after yourself. That was wrong, and someone needed to be able to wake you up almost. That's what I'm on about.
No, 100%. You're right, 100%. And I think there is lack of mentors out there. I think I needed that desperately. I think I don't know, but I just think it was maybe a bit hard for people maybe not to see a little bit. But when I remember one incident, I came in, I'm pro at this time. I came in with a broken hand
to the club,
and then I made up some rubbish story, and then Ian Dowie just looked at me and just shook his head and said, "What are you doing?" Do you know what I mean? And that kind of hit home for me a little bit. But yeah, there's no mentors like that I needed. Like, I think at that time it was like that was the culture. Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking up to people that are going out living that lifestyle who play for the team. I didn't look at like someone like Matt Holland who's going in training early, that who's running around talking to the managers, doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And maybe like Darren Ambrose, who used to be out training early, like just doing crosses, shooting, stuff like that. So I wasn't looking at them. I was looking at the flashy people.
Yeah, thinking, of course.
I'm eventually going to be one of these guys, and then so I'm trying to live their lifestyle as well, or hopefully trying to live their lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we do need a lot of mentors in football.
And what I think where I think the void is it seems to me the football, your parents, let's say you're a parent of a boy that's in an academy or a pro, you're almost expecting the football club as the institution to be looking after him and guiding him the right way. That's what I believe. So you kind of hand over responsibility at that point to the football club. And then I look at the football club and think, once he leaves my environment, so yes, I'll look after you whilst you're in here, but once you leave my environment, now I'm expecting your parents or your peers or whoever to also keep you on track. Yeah. And whilst both parents and institution are kind of expecting the other to do it, people are just falling through the cracks.
Yeah, 100%.
Falling through the cracks all the time. 100%. That's what I'm getting from doing a lot of these shows, and it's getting to the point where there's such a void that I think there's something we need to do and can do to stop other people falling through those cracks.
100%. There needs to be a program for that.
Massively, and that's perhaps something where we'll work towards. But to get back onto your story, so again, I'm going to fast track it a little bit. You've got a 1 year pro at Charlton.
Yeah.
You're in, Dowie's there, but you're in and out. You're playing, you're on loan. You've gone to another subsequent loan. I believe it was at Torquay. Yeah. So you've done another loan. But at some stage, you're going to make a decision whether you're going to get a second year. And again, you were a little bit not complacent. You were quite assured you were going to get a pro in the first place. Yeah. Did you think you was going to get a extension? Did you think that was just going to happen as well? Or?
So that started to change. Yeah. So I again went to League 2 team Torquay, and I just want to talk about the loan situations again. Sometimes you haven't even got a choice. So the morning that I came in, after Brighton, Dowie left. So he got sacked. Or he left. I can't remember. It's one of the two. So after that situation, so after Brighton, new managers came in. I think Les Reed just took over just for assistant manager.
Yeah, caretaker.
For a moment. And then it was like, Ali, you're going to Torquay straight away. I was thinking, why just come back off a loan? Yeah, it's like, but the reserve league is now changed. You're not going to have many matches. We want you to play games. That's when I thought they didn't want, maybe it was iffy up. Maybe I could do something at Torquay. Maybe they want me, but it was kind of up in the air. So I didn't have a choice. I just went. I went, again, another culture shock.
We've gone one step lower now. So Brighton was a culture shock at League 1. Torquay's certainly going to be a culture shock League 2.
Yeah, training in a horse racing track, middle of a horse racing track. The food was a bit better though.
Okay, they
fed us. Keith Cole was there as well. So did I think I was going to get a second pro? When I came back off a loan of Torquay, it was evident that some of us wasn't going to get one, because then who's the manager that Alan Pardew came in, and I thought I was training well. To be fair, I thought I was training well when I played. Obviously, when the reserve games came, I was playing well as well. But we was training, and then instead of getting the young pros to play with the first team to make up the numbers, they making us 4 or 5 of us training by ourselves and bringing in the coaches to train instead of us. Yeah. So to me, I thought that was fishy as well. So I just thought, maybe this is not going to happen. Yeah. And then something that Lisby said as well that dawned on to me is that it looks like we're going down. If we stayed up, then they most probably would have kept you more money. But because we're going down now, you lot are most probably not looking at. And then I'll walk past and Horizon's like, have you found a team yet? Because most probably I'm thinking,
not going to be staying. Right, that's the way they were talking to you.
Yeah, he's
so when
like,
you say Lisby, that's Kevin Lisby, is it?
Yeah, Kevin Lisby's first, and then Horizon said that. Yeah, said that to me. And then
so they were kind of giving you the warning shots. Yeah, that, listen, we're going down. Yeah, so unlikely some of you young ones are going to get kept on.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, well, we're going down, so don't you want to keep all the money that you have invested in
Invest in the youth.
But no, because they was trying to most of we come back up, so they needed all the money they got, and obviously new manager, new players.
So Pardew calls you in at some point.
Yeah, so Pardew called me in. He was like, sit down, how you doing, whatever. And I was like, yeah, you good? He was like, oh, well, we decided not to keep you, and It's like, I believe that you're a great player. I've seen you. I think he said exactly what Lisby said. I think if we stayed up, I would have kept you, but obviously we're going down. We need all the money that we got. He's like, who's your agent? I said, Paul Elliott. He's like, okay, I think you might need to find a new agent. I was like...
That's what Pardew said to you?
Pardew said to me.
So I said it at the time. Why do you think he said that? What was his rationale? What did he...
I don't know, because, you know, like, a lot of people got a lot of relationships, like, different relationships, so it could be like he might not like Paul, or he didn't think Paul was a good agent, or he couldn't... He said to me he doesn't think Paul could take me to that next level.
To the next level, yeah, exactly.
So... and a lot of my friends that were with Paul decided not to continue with him.
Okay.
I think I was the only one that really was there to the end.
Showing him some loyalty. Because you had known him from like 6, 7, 8 years old. So
so I showed him a lot of loyalty.
Okay.
So, and he also showed me loyalty as well. So I'm not saying that he never. So,
so West Ham, Charlton are about to let you go now. So you've had a year pro, but they're about to let you go. I'm assuming you get on the phone to Paul.
Yep.
To say, we need to find another club.
Yeah. And
so, what sort of clubs does he try and get interested into?
So I went to Gillingham. First of all, I went to Gillingham. Done training there. Was there for a while. Played well. They took me on their tour in France.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get contracts, man. My friend Sean Clowesi, he ended up there.
Okay.
So he just lived around the corner from me. My mum's like around the corner, so I used to go with him to training.
Yeah.
Played well. Then come back off the tour. Said to me, like, I think you're a good player, but you just don't fit what we're trying to do right now. What I've been told, that you had a bad attitude from Charlton. All my days, I was like, I didn't
do much down there, in your opinion. But what's scary about that, and again, parents, players, these are all the educational side, I think. You said you didn't realise that the club spoke like that. Yeah,
I didn't. I didn't realise that the managers speak to other managers. They phone up for a report.
Yeah.
What's this guy like?
Yeah, of course.
And they said I had a bad attitude and how that I couldn't last 90 minutes. And he said I never saw none of that. You was in front of the running when we were doing pre-season.
Yeah.
You had a good attitude. You never moaned. I didn't see none of that. So, but it's unfortunate that you just don't fit what we're doing here. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. On to the next.
Yeah.
I went to Stevenage, if I remember. Yeah. So I went to Stevenage next.
Yeah.
Again, gone expecting. They said they want me.
Yeah.
It weren't a trial. Yeah. They said they wanted
you. Yeah, of course.
So Mark Rodson was there, and he again longed it out. So I was like, are they going to sign me? After it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, are they going to sign me? We're still waiting. They're still waiting on a decision. I was talking to Paul. They're still waiting. I'm like, okay, cool. So I spoke to him as well. He was like, we're just going to have a talk with Paul about it. So we played a game against Southend. Played very well. Scored 2 goals. Set up most of we had 3 goals. Okay. And then supposedly Southend wanted me, and that was in the league. At this time, Stevenage was Conference Prem.
Yeah.
So right after the game, he just said, Ali, we're going to sign you straight after the game. So now I'm a Stevenage player. So I was like, this is on my road back to where I'm supposed to be. Going back now, where I'm supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? So
there was a little bit in there where you said you had a choice of 2 teams, though. It was Stevenage.
Yeah. So as soon
as Forest had come back, was it
no.
Or was it the South End?
No. So when I just about to sign for Stevenage, Rushman and Diamonds came in and said, "Oh, Ali," because this is the time when they was playing Satanta, I think it was, live when that football show was on. Yeah, it was like, Ali, come down. We were playing in Setanta. You're gonna be on TV.
Yeah.
We put you straight in the first team.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. I got this much money.
Yeah.
And I said, right, that's not enough. Yeah. And then there was like, okay, how much do you want then? I think they even phoned my old manager at Charlton to confirm how much money I was on.
Yeah.
And they was like, okay, because they tried to give me some stupid money, and it was like, oh well, we can offer you accommodation and give you this X amount of money. And I was like, oh, okay, but Rushman Diamonds is very far.
Yeah, of course.
So Stevenage, just outside of London.
Yeah.
Again, but my agent, when I spoke to my agent, he was like, Ali, I think you should go Rushman Diamonds, get you out of London.
Exactly.
To focus, like, you'd be getting in a lot of trouble down here, so I want you trying to get you out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I was comfortable, you know what I mean? I was comfortable home with my friends. It's like about an hour away from home.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because we've done this show now a few times, and in a few of the stories, there's always a pivotal moment for me in some of the stories and the journeys, and me and the producers and the guys behind the scenes on the show, we always say it's like a sliding doors moment. It's just like a sliding doors moment. So here, in your case, you've got Rushton and Diamonds, who's a little bit outside, a little bit further out, but your agent is almost saying, let's get you out of London, you know, so perhaps that's a fresh start for you. Yes, the money's less, but because of the whole new environment, fresh start, that could be really good for you. I think you should take that. Or you've got Stevenage, who are offering you better deal, but it perhaps still means you remain in London, so you're not really getting away from the distractions and the environment you're in. There's a choice to be made here.
Yeah.
You know, right now, there's a big choice to be made, and you've gone for Stevenage.
Yeah.
Almost like you said, it's comfortable. I get to stay at home. The money was good anyway. Instead of perhaps going out of London, to just move this story on. Stevenage pay you the same sort of money that you were on at Charlton, so financially you're stable. But tell us what happens 2 months into your time at Stevenage.
Yeah, so playing well as well. I think he was trying to break me into the like he was bringing me on the sub. Again, they were winning games, so again he couldn't change the team like that. But he would bring me on the last 30 minutes. Do you know what I mean? So he was easing me into half. Then he would bring me on second half. Then he was bringing me on. Do you know what I'm saying? So he was bringing me more gradually into whatever to then force maybe players out. But playing well. Then after the 2 months, unfortunately I got stabbed. Yeah, my stomach. Outside my house.
How does one get stabbed in their stomach outside your house? It's a little bit of a backdrop to that.
Yeah, so as I said, I didn't bring drama to my house, so it was very weird. Do you know what I mean? So from previous, so it's like the thing's catching up with you. You know what I mean? People went jail, came out, and still had the same mentality. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't an angel either. So it was just one of them, not one of them things, but arguments happened. Arguments happen. Yeah, then got a phone call saying we're coming to your house or whatever. I was going out, but imagine this. So I've got a game the next day. This is why I knew something was wrong anyway. It was little things that were wrong anyway. Because I even told my brother something bad's gonna happen to me. I feel like something bad's gonna happen to me. Like every time I go into the house, I feel like a shadow. I don't know why. Yeah, and long and behold, like 2 weeks later, that situation happened. But yeah, so I got they've came down the road, but I'm going out. So I'm thinking, yeah, cool. Whatever you do, you don't even know where I live, but if you want to do that, then cool. So obviously, they did know where I live. Yeah. So, but I'm going out, which I shouldn't have been in the first place because I got a match the next day. So me, stupid as well, thinking that I'm gonna go out, go party, and then come back and try and play. Was dumb. It's even doing that. But yeah, so as I was going out, see loads of boys walking down the road, like 15 boys, balaclavas and stuff. So I'm thinking, as I get closer, I'm recognizing the people. So that happened, and yeah, it just happened like that. Got stabbed straight away. Yeah.
So without, we're not gonna bring back too much of the drastic memories, but it's quite a serious situation because you've been stabbed in your stomach.
Yeah.
So you get rushed to hospital.
Yeah. So basically, I know it sounds a bit like a movie, but I'd done what I chased them down, whatever. But I realised I got stabbed. So my brother's come out the house, said, "What's going on, Ali?" Said, "Yeah, I've been stabbed." He's like, "Fucking, I'll get in the car." Yeah, so he dropped me to the hospital. And they were saying, "Did he stab you?" I was like, "No, that's my brother."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and he's like, "No, did he stab you?" You kept saying to me, I said, "No, that's my brother." And he was saying, "No, that's my brother." You know what I mean? So yeah, and then, so I got rushed to the hospital, man.
Yeah. And then obviously, because of the gravity of what's happened, they've almost have to perform quite an emergency procedure on you.
Yeah.
So that's happened. Obviously, you're out, because you're out.
Yeah.
And then you said when you came to, the press were there and Sky Sports were there. Now this is big news because you're a professional footballer.
Yeah.
On a pro contract who's been stabbed. So you made Sky Sports.
Yeah. So
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So yeah. It was on. I just remember I was just looking up and it's saying, Alistair John been stabbed. You know what I mean? Outside his home. The little bulletin underneath.
Yeah, the yellow banner. Yeah. Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. Yeah. So I got loads of phone calls. Chris Powell phoned me. One of the guys that I played against like the day before, he used to be at Charlton as well. He phoned me.
Yeah.
Everyone just phoned me. Like everyone was in hospital. So, and I got a police detective right there in my face.
As well, yeah.
I got this tube in my nose. I got staples going through my stomach.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, do you know what I mean? I just woke up and just pulled everything out.
Yeah.
I was just on morphine. Like, I was just like in a.
Because the stabbing had interfered with your
small intestine. So it pierced my small intestines. So they had to sew that up and whatever. But the stab wounds like that, and then the way they cut me open, that's just big scar. Yeah, so
they use staples, and then worst case scenario, you caught an infection.
Yeah, so I was meant to be out. So obviously Stevenage is ringing out the phone. What's going on? How's he doing? What happened? You know what I mean? All that stuff. Because he eventually, exactly again. So he was leaving. I didn't know that. So I think I don't know, but my personal belief, he took a lot of players with him.
Okay.
From Stevenage. He liked me, so I'm hoping that he would have took me to Gillingham.
Yeah.
But most probably not. But I was just thinking that. But yeah, so the infection. So there was an infection going around hospitals. So one time I was laying down, I was getting cold sweats. I'm telling the doctor I was supposed to be in and out over a week. Yeah. And the doctor's telling me, no, you're just young. I remember I'm 19 at this time. You're still young, you just had a major operation, but I'm throwing up green stuff. And I'm like, nah, this isn't right. Yeah. So I'm in and out of the hospital. My mum said to them, he's not leaving until you find out what's wrong with him. So I've been discharged 6 times from the hospital. Yeah. Until the the person who's doing the surgery saw me throwing up and everything. That's when he decided, like, nah, this is serious. We have to take this serious.
Go back again.
Yeah. So that come around, and there was a thing called C. diff going around hospitals, and I remember just watching it on TV in a hospital. Yeah. And they were saying on GMTV, and the woman was like, or ITV, I forgot where it was, saying, yeah, my dad's died of C. diff. And I was thinking, the guys just come round and just told me, you got C. diff.
C. diff, yeah.
I'm thinking, effing hell, I'm going to die. Do you know what I mean? I know it sounds mad. Yeah. But I was like panicking, man. And this time I've lost loads of weight. I'm nil by mouth. So I'm like 8 stone. You know what I mean? Like 7 stone. So I was just wasted away, man. So I wasn't eating either. So yeah, it was a hard period.
A very hard period to bring the gravity of what starts to happen when you're on a slippery slope, you and your partner. Yeah. Where obviously at the time I was also trying for a baby, or she fell pregnant, and then Just tell us a little bit about that situation.
So we have to go back to, first of all, so after I got out of hospital, it was like 3 months later, I decided to move down to Stevenage and try and focus on football, my rehab and stuff. They didn't, in this time, remember, I'm still trying to walk again because I was bedbound. So I had to learn how to walk properly again. So all in this time,
let alone play football.
So all this time, I'm trying to figure out how my body's working again. Do you know what I mean? How to put on good weight, not bad weight, but I put on bad weight. So tried to run it. I couldn't even run it off because I'm still trying to figure out my legs back again.
Of course.
Yeah. So ended the contract. Stevenage said bye. So I got released from Stevenage.
Which was kind of inevitable.
Yeah, because the period
and injury, and like I say, you trying to find yourself. These clubs are trying to win football matches, so as much as they feel sorry about the situation, they've almost got to move on as well. So
plus Peter Taylor come in, so again new personnel. So so at the time my ex-partner, she got pregnant, and then she got rushed into hospital 6 months or 5 months early. So and got told that that she had like an infection or something like that, and she might have to give birth to the baby. So that was traumatic as well. So I lost the child.
So the child was, she had to deliver the baby, but the baby was.
So this time I'm like 20 years old now. So
awful situation. And that didn't happen once.
No, it happened twice. So right after, next year after that, same thing happened again.
So your partner that's with you, you're going through, I think he said once you'd come out of hospital and the Stevenage contract had ended, you know, you started to have this whole little spell of depressions coming over you now. Because the game you love is, you can't quite do it, your body's not quite right, you're trying to do all these things. Very sadly now, you've had 2 babies that have not made it all the way through. So your partner's now going through some awful trauma herself as well. The two of you are actually in a bit of a situation. What's life like at this point?
So even at Stevenage towards my end, I'll be drinking every day. So I was very like depressed. Angry, upset, not happy, man. I wasn't happy. And even like after her obviously losing the 2, like us losing the 2, it was very hard, man. Like she was struggling. And I tried to be the rock. Do you know what I mean? And I tried to keep trying to focus, but I don't think that helped with her either. So it was hard. It was very hard, man. It was very hard for her.
When we spoke, and I was saying what got you through, because now we're at a very low point, and football's not there as our escapism no more. So I said to you, what got you through? And then you said it was the birth of your son.
The birth of my second son, Harlem.
So that gave you a new focus, a new energy, started to get you out of the state of mind you was in?
No, because I still had a little bit of depression. I still was kind of depressed. But he made everything easier. I was trying to focus, do you know what I'm saying, on life. Just forget about football, because
of course.
At that point, football wasn't even the main focus anymore, because I went on trial to Gillingham again. It didn't work out. Went to Cheltenham. They said they liked me, but I was unfit, so that didn't work out. I went to Bromley, that didn't work out. So at this point, I'm just like nowhere really, and I'm trying to get back to fitness and everything like that. But my son come along, and we needed money, and I was broke. So I tried to do, football wasn't the focus no more. Trying to get survive. Do you know what I mean? So that's, he calmed me down, should I say. He calmed me down a lot, and a bit more mature, more focused on trying to survive, basically.
we call it depression now, afters, and I think I asked you, whilst you were in it, did you know you was depressed?
No.
Like, no, because but you said you was angry with everyone.
Yeah.
I said, who could you talk to?
Yeah.
When you're down at the bottom, you need to talk to someone. Who could you talk to at this stage? And you was like, you was angry with everyone. So you was holding a lot of stuff in?
Yeah, so, no, I'll have outbursts, so I'll blame everyone for a lot of things, you know what I mean? So I had little outbursts, at my mum, at my sister, even at my partner at the time, my ex-partner at the time, you know what I mean? I just kind of blamed a lot of people for a lot of stuff, which even some of my friends, which that shouldn't happen. But obviously I was angry. I was just angry. I was just upset and angry at myself mainly as well. So yeah, so I didn't really have anyone to talk to like that. Not really. And I felt like it was, if I did, it was kind of like weak. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't really want to show that side.
Yeah, of course. Which is why we as men, they say sometimes we keep it in when actually we need to let it go. So it's a crazy journey. Are you playing football now?
Nah. So basically after that and my son was born, I basically kind of stopped. Didn't even watch football. Didn't do anything. Nothing to do with football. I turned it off. I hated it. I hated the hell out of it. I'll play little five-a-side or something like that, but that was it. I would never take it seriously again.
Yeah.
Wouldn't watch it on TV.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't even know the names of any of the team that I supported. Nothing. Didn't know what was going on in football at all. I was just depressed and with football, shall I say. I got a little carried away, but I was just depressed with the whole football, the whole thing, because it was just like I felt like I failed. Do you know what I mean?
Because you were there.
Yeah.
It's not like you weren't there.
Yeah.
So it's now hard to turn on a match of the day and watch some of the players and managers and all these guys that you were around and the scenes that you were in. You couldn't really.
And plus, friends were gone. All the people that was around you in the beginning or was around you all the time, they're gone. They don't phone your phone no more. So, do you know what I mean? So, no, I'm not playing football. I didn't play football for a long time. And then my second son came along, Harlow, and he banged me back into football.
Okay.
Yeah.
In what way?
So I'm just coaching now, and I do one-to-one sessions as well. So we didn't even know that he was going to be as good as he is. He just done like football like once a week, and he progressed, and I was like, oh, maybe I need to invest in him a little bit, and then everything started to click around me again. Like, I know this guy, I know that guy. Football again, coaching. You know what I mean? Because for years, everyone was telling me, Ali, you need to go into coaching. You should go into coaching, mentoring kids. You've been through a lot. Do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. And I always shied away from it. But since he's come along, I'm fully in it now. So yeah.
So I said to you yesterday, the story so massive, emotional, educational. What were some of the bullet points that you'd like parents, players, football clubs to take? So what are some of the messages that you'd like to round this conversation up with to parents, players and football clubs? Some of the bullet points to take away from it.
I say first and foremost, the clubs is that they need to do more with, the players that that maybe just didn't make it. You know what I mean? A lot of mentoring, a lot of stuff happens with a kid who's been in the game for all his life and all he knows is football. After they don't make it, do you check up on them? Is there a mentor? Is there someone to help them? Do they have access to anything? Do you let them know they have access to anything that can help them? Do you know what I mean? Or so that needs to be addressed.
Because you think you didn't get that?
No,
no one checked up on you.
No.
So everyone was there when you got stabbed.
Yeah.
Like you said, Sky Sports, reporters, everyone's there. But when everyone goes home and moves on to the next story, you were left alone. Yeah. You felt that?
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone left me. So, except for my family members and like one or two friends. But, so
So clubs doing more. That's definitely one thing in terms
clubs
of
need to do more.
Almost like an after-sale service afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? What other messages would you like to bring here?
Parents is the fact that remember football's a business first and foremost. So as much as you think, this and that, and you're traveling up and down here, your son's at academy and this and that, today, tomorrow, it could be God. Do you know what I mean? So you always, I wouldn't say like have a backup plan, but you always need to let them have a life as well. Because I see so many parents that go crazy and don't understand the mental effects that has on the kid. So I just want that to be addressed as well. So yeah, that with the parents.
I've got a couple that I'd like to finish up on that might not have got highlighted. I think one of them, you did show enormous loyalty to Paul Elliott, and he did his best for you in what he was doing. But there's something you said right there at the end was, so I'm broke, for example. Yeah. Now I said you had two good. I say good, I don't know quite what the amounts were, but you had two professional contracts where, as you've already said yourself, you were earning at times almost like the income of your mum and your dad put together. And I'm saying, when I look at agents and representatives and people, it's not just about turning up when there's a contract to be signed for me. It's also about that financial advice, potentially, what can you do? Okay, Alistair, you're earning X amount. Can we put this down for this rainy day? And you know what I mean?
So that goes into a lot with the mentoring.
That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to come to that, but I'm just trying to say you had somebody there that potentially could have and should have maybe done a little bit more. Maybe, you know, I wasn't there, so I'm just going to just highlight that bit there. We talked about your pet dad and the relationship of having him in the house, and then funny enough, now I know you've mentioned ex, you know, so I'm assuming you and your missus are not together now. So again, it's like, as much as you love your boys and you're doing your best and you're coaching, how are you going to make sure that
doesn't happen,
doesn't replicate itself? Like, because you said maybe if dad was around in the house, maybe some of your situations might have changed.
Well, I can't help the situation between me and their mum. But as long as I'm there every phone call, I'm there most training sessions, I'm there whenever they need me, I'll be there for everything, and which I am. So, which was very different from my dad.
From your dad,
So I hope that has an effect on their upbringing, and I think it will.
Just being a more consistent presence. And consistent presence.
Exactly.
Presence in there.
Exactly.
And then the last one, which is coming onto that mentorship, was, I believe people like yourself that have walked the walk, as it were, are so vital for football clubs. Like, you can play a real role in mentoring the next Alistair John that is out there, because they're there. They're going to be there. Boys from, you know, certain backgrounds who are still very good at football, but perhaps can't separate themselves from their friends. Like you said, you grew up with these people. So just letting those boys know about, like I said, there's going to be some point where you have to make a sacrifice.
That's what I was going to say as well. Sacrifices. A lot of people don't understand that. That is one of the main things. You're going to have to not go to that party. You're going to have to not hang around with that guy. You're going to have to not talk to that girl. There's going to be a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to do to make it to be
this good pro.
Exactly.
So these are the messages, and I hope, even if we just help one person, one parent, one player, one football club to change, adjust, learn and understand, that we can help each other to be good professionals and good people, then this would have been worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Alistair, this has been a great story.
Thank you.
This has been your truth. And thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
Cool. And for you, ladies and gentlemen, you know what to do now. Watch the videos and subscribe to the YouTube and the Instagram, and just keep following, because we've got more and more stories coming your way. Good evening.